Hey guys, welcome to the Acne Clear Chef. My name is Thomas Grabowski and thanks for joining me on my show. Today we're going to be cooking some sweet potato and squash vegetable stir fry that we're going to be making in the oven. This is a great way to get some amazing vitamins and minerals into your body so you can start generating the healthy benefits of real whole foods and starting to help you clear up your skin from the inside out. Now with that being said, let's get to the kitchen and let's start cooking. Alright guys, so for this recipe we're going to be using 1 medium butternut squash, 1 large sweet potato, nutmeg. If you don't have nutmeg, you can also use allspice seasoning, cinnamon, a little bit of cayenne pepper, and olive oil. So to start this recipe off, you're going to want to take 1 baking sheet and line it with some parchment paper. Then what we're going to do is take our butternut squash and cut it into quarters. I start with just cutting off the top and the bottom ends. Once you cut off the top and the bottom end, you're going to want to take your butternut squash and cut it directly in half. Cutting it in half is going to give you some more surface area for you to peel off the skin. So now you're going to peel off the skin once you cut it in half. Once you've peeled your squash, you're going to want to take your squash and slice it right in half, right through the middle. Now, depending on the thickness, you may want to slice it in half one more time in order to have nice, even bite-sized pieces to put onto your baking sheet. Then what you're going to want to do is cut them into 4 equal strips and then create 1-inch cubes to add onto your baking sheet. You want something like this. Repeat this process for the bottom half as well. For the bottom half, you may need to cut it a little bit differently. Again, aim for about 1-inch cubes. Now that you've cut your butternut squash and put it on a baking sheet, we're going to take 1 sweet potato and again, cut it in half lengthwise. And then we're going to do the same process of cutting this in half and creating 1-inch cubes. You'll want to spread this sweet potato evenly on the baking sheet. I'm actually going to use another sweet potato for this recipe because I feel like just adding 1 more would kind of balance out the dish a little better. Now I'm going to take a red onion and I'm going to cut it in half. If you're using an organic red onion, you're going to see how nice and shiny and bright and colorful these red onions are. You can see how much healthier they are than conventional agriculture. And yeah, this is where the money is, right here in your hands. So really try to go for organic every single time. Once you peel off the layer of the onion to reveal the shiny surface, simply cut it in half 1 more time. Now I'm going to create some chunks. Now in order to do that, I'm going to show you how that's done. What you're going to want to do is take a knife and cut right in half into the onion, but you don't want to cut off the butt end. You just want to cut right through. Once it's cut through, what you're going to want to do is create about 4 incisions. So I'm creating about 4 incisions here. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, we're shooting for that 1-inch pieces here with this kind of recipe. So remember 1 inch, that's kind of like your standard point. Once you get your 1-inch pieces, I'm simply going to cut this in half and down. Be careful to watch your fingers, you don't want to cut yourself. Now what you'll have are these little small chunks of red onion that you can spread along the baking sheet. Just going to kind of cut up the remainder so I'm not wasting the end of the onion here. So I used about 3/4 of an onion for this recipe. I'm also going to add 1 can of chickpeas and spread it on the baking sheet as well. So what you're going to do is use a can opener and open the can of chickpeas. Then what you want to do is get a mesh strainer and strain out all the excess liquid from the chickpea can into the sink. Then once you strained out the water, you're going to take some filtered water and simply wash off the cooked chickpeas. Then we're going to want to add our chickpeas to the baking sheet. I used about half a can for this recipe. I would definitely add some parsnips for this recipe, but since I don't, I can use some celeriac root, but I think the celeriac root will be a little bit too, it's a very strong earthy taste and better off in soups, so I'm not going to use any parsnip or celeriac root for this recipe. And now just to finish this recipe off, we're going to pour some avocado oil or olive oil onto your baking sheet. Pour some cinnamon, some allspice or nutmeg, highly recommended. The final product should look something like this. And when you're done prepping your vegetables, you're going to want to prep your oven for 350 degrees Fahrenheit and throw it in there. Put the baking sheet into the middle rack for about 30 to 45 minutes. All right, guys, and thanks for watching the video. If you guys enjoyed this kind of content, feel free to like and subscribe and follow me on my YouTube channel. So with that being said, guys, eat your vegetables, go with the flow, choose organic, and remember to eat well and live a healthy lifestyle.